I've been sitting in bed here for a while, bed rotting, scrolling, and I literally just cannot bring myself to get up and to do things that I know will make me feel good. I just cannot do it, but I just am realizing nobody is gonna save myself. Nobody is coming to save me. I have to save me. So I'm going to change. Even though everything in me is saying I don't want to, I have to. And I'm just going to force myself until I actually want to do it. Until my body is craving that. Until my brain is rewired for that. So let's do it together. The thing with depression or depressive feelings is that eventually you come to a point where you're just tired of your own crap. You're tired of feeling this way, and you realize that nothing is going to change unless you do something about it. The first thing that I had to do was cut down on my work hours, which I'm honestly not in the position to be able to do this, but thankfully around this time my tax return had just came in and it allowed me some breathing room. The next part was reintroducing practices into my life that have saved me time and time again. But first, I needed to clean my depression home so I could function. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this part took me a while to conjure up the energy to even do this. And I did not do this all in one day. It took me several days to get to this point. And just a gentle reminder that this is a safe space and there's no judgment here. You never know what someone is going through, and we honestly all have periods of times where we don't treat ourselves in the best ways, or we're not constantly on top of things in life, and that's completely okay. The important thing is that you keep coming back to yourself and remember that you are inherently worthy of love. That was honestly the main key to getting out of this slump, was reframing the way that I thought about myself and operating out of love for myself through every action rather than discipline, which often feels like punishment to me. Y'all, I just woke up. Obviously, normally the first thing I wouldn't do is look at screens, but just for filming purposes, I'm looking at the screen, but it is on the red mode. But yeah, so for the first hour I will stay off of any screens, and the first thing I'm gonna do is, because usually I'm so like groggy, or not groggy, but just like I need to come back to earth, and sometimes I have like weird dreams that, yeah. So first thing I'm gonna do is drink a whole bunch of water because I need it. And then I'm going to use my ice roller for my eyes. So I'm going to use this all over, and yeah. If you can, like, sitting in the sun is the best. Right now the sun is like covered by the clouds, but it's still, the first thing you want to do is try and get some sunlight in your eyes. Preferably before 10 a.m. to tell your body that it's morning time, it's time to wake up. Whenever you look at a screen first thing, it tells your brain that it is like middle of the day, like 12 p.m., even if it's like 8 a.m., whatever. So it throws your circadian rhythm off. I love the ice roller because ice helps a lot with anxiety. Literally just makes your mind focus on the sensation of the coldness, instead of like whatever you're feeling anxious about. So it kind of tricks your body almost. There's a lot of other benefits to ice too. A lot of these practices go back to our primal instincts and are backed by science. Hearing birds in the morning is soothing because it signifies that there are no predators nearby. Putting our feet in the ground allows the negative ions from the earth to neutralize our electrical charge. I usually take this time to lay in Shavasana pose, or the corpse pose, which is where our body fully relaxes and releases tension. I find that being in nature just promotes this feeling of ease, which makes sense because we are nature ourselves and our first home is nature. After doing this for a while, I'll slowly open my eyes and just notice all the little worlds going on around me. So I was actually having some anxiety last night, and I woke up with like chest pain and chest tightness from it, and my heart was just like racing. And of course, being on a phone, like being on a stimulus, is not going to help me. So the first thing I did was just go outside and ground myself, and now that I've done that, I feel much more here in the present and not in my head or like overwhelmed with these physical sensations. So now I'm in a place to do my morning routine.
And plus cancer.
I already feel like 90% better. It's so crazy what simple hygienic practices will do for you and your wellness. Lord. Along with a morning routine, I really needed to prioritize my sleep because I would be staying up almost all night trying to finish work, and it literally threw off every aspect of my life. While I started to do most of my work in the mornings now, sometimes that wouldn't always be possible. So if I did have to finish up work in the evening, I made sure to turn on my nightlight and even adjusted my settings even more so it could be as red as possible. I also love to romanticize pretty much everything, but it's especially helpful for tasks that I don't particularly enjoy doing. There's just something about putting on some mood lighting and listening to my favorite ambiance music that just makes things feel a little bit lighter. About an hour before bed, I will turn off all screens and read my favorite fantasy book until I feel sleepy. Then I'll let my breath lull me to sleep, either through a guided meditation or just focusing on the rise and fall of my chest as I inhale and exhale. Another simple practice that I have been trying to implement is to eat at least one nourishing meal a day. A lot of times that looks like a variety of macro bowls or some sort of meal that has a lot of different veggies that I have on hand. These meals always make me feel so good in my body and like I'm truly caring for this vessel that I'm in. I don't bother tracking macros or calories or worrying about any of that because honestly, I find it so overwhelming and it really just doesn't align with my goals. I still eat what I want and indulge in my cravings without shame or guilt, but just do it in a more nourishing way. So eating and cooking at home a lot and using different ingredients that are better for my body. For the most part, I try to get movement through ways that don't feel like exercise and are actually enjoyable to me because I simply cannot tolerate when something feels forced. On the days that I don't have any projects to do, I have been trying to go bike riding, and I just do this for like 10-15 minutes and I love it so much. It just makes me feel like I'm a kid again and I'm free and just on an adventure exploring. Which brings me to my next practice, spending time in nature. Even though I am currently living in a more city suburb environment, which I initially detested, I have come to learn that gratitude can be found in any situation. Nature exists everywhere. In the wildflowers lining the highways, the farm animals we drive by, even the birds on the power lines. You just have to look for it. Even if you don't have a backyard or nature isn't as accessible to you, if you can just open a window, sit on your balcony, or ride with the windows down in the car, breathing in the negative ions from the air is always going to make you feel so much better. But sometimes little ventures in nature nearby are not always going to be enough, and you might have to change it up a bit and go somewhere that's more immersed in nature. It's also so important to reach out to loved ones when you're feeling down. Personally, I tend to self-isolate when I'm experiencing lower moods, so a trip to the beach where one of my best friends lives ended up being so healing for me. Hello, happy rising. I am here in Galveston, Texas, where one of my best friends lives, and I just decided to visit her for the weekend. Hopefully you can hear me. I forgot my mic, but yeah, I just, obviously haven't been feeling well. And before the trip, I was just thinking maybe I shouldn't go because I'm just not where I want to be mentally. But I just said, you know what, you can't be perfect, you just have to show up authentically in how you are, and that's what I'm doing. So I may be a little dysregulated or anxious, and that's okay because that's just how it is right now. And I think just getting out of your comfort zone is gonna help you either way, and obviously being near the ocean is very healing for me, so I can already feel my spirits being lifted, and I'm just excited. Sometimes a change of environment and pace is really needed. So yeah. Hi, Mamas. Hi.
Wait, are these...
I actually did this trip at the beginning of this depressive episode because I just felt like I needed something to bring me back to life. And what better way than to spend your days at the beach near Mother Ocean and around loved ones who make your nervous system feel safe. This trip really helped bring back gratitude into my daily practice in life. Because how can you not be grateful when you get to wake up to this? when there's so many different manifestations of love around you. Even through the suffering, life is so beautiful, and these little bits of hope just make it worth living. There will always be highs and lows, but we cannot have the light without the dark. The darkness serves a purpose, but just remember, at any moment, you can always return home to yourself and channel the love that exists within you. Well,